Hey guys, I know it's a bit soon for making this video, but I just wanted to talk about some films that I saw in the not too distant past, simply for the sake of making a video. After all, what harm could it do? Anyways, I hope you enjoy hearing my thoughts. Do the Right Thing. I saw this because a YouTube friend of mine cited this as one of his favourite movies, and while I don't hold it up to the same pedestal, I can definitely understand why a person would love it. The film focuses on several characters, all living in a small neighborhood in New York, and the racial tensions that exist, which gradually become more intense over the course of the day in which the movie is set. The direction is really nice, making this change from general tension to violence very smooth, and pretty much every actor does a really good job, notably Spike Lee in his role as Mookie. The Wolfman. This is a classic chiller, to say the least. While nothing totally outstanding really stood out to me, I can see the level of influence this has had on the horror movie genre. Some aspects of it are really outdated, notably the transformation sequence, but I love the atmosphere that the film has in the scenes in the woods that is created through the use of set design, fog machines, and the great music. I also think that the makeup for the werewolf looks pretty good, and Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance is great. It is a little bit overestimated in my opinion, but it is a really good movie nonetheless. X-Men First Class. I'm a big fan of the X-Men films. The first two are among my favourite superhero movies, the third is a big guilty pleasure of mine, and I'm not exactly the biggest fan of X-Men Origins Wolverine. And while I don't think this movie is perfect, it is really good. The film's negatives are rooted in the fact that they introduce new characters to the film series and don't really develop it or make a great use of them, but the stories about the origins of the central characters are indeed fascinating. I think without any doubt the most interesting character is Magneto, who is played by Michael Fassbender, and he is absolutely excellent. In fact, I think that he should get an Oscar nomination for his role. I also think that the film has a really engaging fictional take on the Cuban Missile Crisis. While it isn't my favourite X-Men movie, I did like it quite a bit. Elephant. I saw this movie for a few reasons. I heard it was very good, a YouTube friend recommended it, and I had just finished watching a documentary on the Columbine Massacre. The film isn't a direct recreation of the incident since parts of the film focusing on the characters based off of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold are very inaccurate to what actually happened, but it is cool to see a film dealing with the issue, but also exploring the day-to-day lives of other students which make it stand out as more than just a Columbine movie. The film is beautifully shot and has an interesting story structure, focusing on several seemingly unrelated teenagers and going over certain points in the timeline more than once. It's generally just a cool idea. The movie is slow moving, but it isn't too bad since the movie already is quite short, and this seemingly extends the duration. In general, this is just a really different and really well directed movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I saw this movie as a little kid, and I gave it a rewatch a few weeks ago. While I wouldn't say I love it, I do think it is quite good, and I love how it mixed aspects of classic animation, slapstick humor, and film noir. I'm not one for the exploitation of effects, but the way in which the animators have merged cartoon characters and live action is actually quite revolutionary, and I couldn't help but love the overall look of it. Christopher Lloyd is also delightfully intimidating as the movie's villain, and the film has a few really adult things about it. I've heard it being described as a kid's film for adults, and I can understand what they mean by that. In general, I wasn't in love with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but the revolutionary animation and the inclusion of a film noir story is quite impressive. Finding Nemo. Another film I saw as a kid, and I gave it a rewatch. I think that besides the Toy Story trilogy, this is the best film that Pixar has made. The CG looks absolutely beautiful, and really captures the colours of the different parts of the ocean. And I thought that the story about father and son, and the way in which the film communicates the importance of that relationship, really is touching. The film's humour is a bit too child-oriented for my tastes, but I do feel that it has its funny moments. I don't really watch these sorts of movies for the humor. I just love fiction, and I think that this was a really engaging story. I liked it quite a lot as a kid, and I like it just as much now. Finding Nemo is a great movie. The Outlaw, Josey Wales. It took me a while to see this, and I finally got to it. It's the earliest Clint Eastwood directed film I've seen, and I could see that his directorial talent was still on the road to improving, to the level of being able to make films like Unforgiven. I like Western movies, and this one was very good, but I just think that the film suffers from some poor pacing in some scenes, and I feel that the movie had a bit of a habit of introducing characters at random points in the story, and then giving them significant roles. There's only a few characters who truly remain consistent throughout the entire film. The action scenes are pretty cool though. Overall, not perfect, but it was nice spending an afternoon watching this movie anyway. Solaris. The version I'm referring to is the 1972 version by Andrei Tarkovsky, which was made in the Soviet Union. I have to say that while the film is really out there, if you know what I mean, many of the qualities are admirable. The photography, particularly around the start, is gorgeous. The film is divided into two parts, which certainly made the film more watchable for me, considering that the pace is very slow, and it runs for about 160 minutes. I like to think of this movie as the USSR's response to 2001: A Space Odyssey. And while I can't really decide which one of those movies I like more, I really do think that this movie is worth checking out. It made me curious towards more Tarkovsky films, as well as films from the former Soviet Union in general. Spirited Away. This movie absolutely oozes with originality, and that is what I really loved about it. I can't really detect any sort of influence in it, it just feels like something that's come out of a dream. This is the only Hayao Miyazaki film that I've seen so far, and I really am looking forward to seeing his other works, notably Howl's Moving Castle and Princess Mononoke, and I really do hope I've pronounced that correctly. The level of imagination put into this fictional world, and the animation that accompanies it, truly is jaw-dropping. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, I know that wasn't the case for many friends of mine who did see this movie, but I think that most dedicated film aficionados would really like it. There's nothing else like it as far as I'm concerned, and in that sense, it really is worth seeing. The Burbs. The same YouTube friend of mine who recommended me Do the Right Thing also inspired me to see this, and I have to say thank you to him because this film is so damn underrated and has such an enormous fun factor. While many aspects of it are really silly, I think it works in the film's favor. The film deals with the idea of nothing bad ever happening in the suburbs, and involves a very Hitchcockian story about one bored man's suspicions about his new neighbors. All the characters are a lot of fun, and Tom Hanks delivers a great performance. I really love the cozy atmosphere that the film establishes from the beginning, and the way in which it dilutes that feeling of security as the story moves on to increase the suspense factor. It's just a great movie, and I really don't see why a lot of critics took this film more seriously than they should have. Because I'm proud to say that this is a recent addition to my favorite movies list. And that just about concludes this video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed hearing my opinions on these films, and if you haven't seen them, I really do hope that you check them out. And well, I guess I'm just gonna have to catch you later for now, and have a Merry Christmas.